It was a dark and stormy night in the small town of Willow Creek, and Emily, a bright-eyed college student, found herself stranded on the side of a deserted road. She had been driving home from a late-night study session at the Willow Creek Community College when her car suddenly sputtered and died. Emily cursed under her breath as she checked her phone, only to find that she had no signal. Rain was pouring down in sheets, and the wind was howling like a pack of wolves. Emily knew that she had to find some form of shelter before the storm got worse. As she stood outside her car, shivering and soaked to the bone, she noticed a faint light in the distance. With no other options, Emily trudged towards the light, hoping to find some form of refuge. As she got closer, Emily could make out the shape of a large, dilapidated mansion. The windows were boarded up, and the door hung off its hinges. Emily hesitated for a moment, but the thought of being stuck outside in the storm was more terrifying than the prospect of entering the eerie mansion. Once inside, Emily was greeted by an oppressive silence broken only by the sound of her own footsteps. The air was thick with the smell of mold and decay. She moved through the dark house, her flashlight flickering uncertainly as she searched for a phone or a way to contact help. Suddenly, she heard a low growl and the sound of footsteps coming from upstairs. Emily froze, her heart pounding in her chest. She had heard stories of murderers and kidnappers who lured their victims into isolated places like this. As Emily crept up the stairs, she heard the growling grow louder. She found a room with a small light coming from under the door. She slowly pushed open the door, revealing a scene that made her blood run cold. In the middle of the room stood a twisted figure, hunched over and snarling like a wild animal. It was covered in a patchwork of human skin, and in its hand it held a sharp, gleaming knife. Emily tried to scream, but the sound caught in her throat. She turned to run, but it was too late. The twisted figure lunged at her, and Emily felt the cold steel of the knife slide into her back. In her final moments, Emily realized that the stories were true. She had stumbled into the lair of a deranged killer, and she would never make it out alive. The town of Willow Creek would never forget the tragedy that had befallen one of their own on that dark and stormy night.